This is David with the Paranormal-Activity podcast. I apologize, I'm still not done reorganizing the room. Hopefully I'll be done in about a week. So I'm kind of embarrassed that you have all this stacked up around me. Well, anyway, last week when I had mentioned about there was no white light, I think that was for the fourth day. And I thought, hopefully if anything happens, it'll be better to be later than sooner. Well, that night is when I was psychically attacked, and I don't remember anything like this happening before, because I went to bed about, I don't know, I think around a little bit before 11. So 11:30, I evidently was attacked psychically because I don't remember moving the sheets, getting out of the bed, and almost start running. And I remember as I just started to almost run, I see in this vision these two pair of feet running ahead of me. Well, I don't know how that works when they do that psychically, but then I kind of like came back to like reality and not like the other side. So I stopped and I realized, there's the bathroom door, and I turn around and I see the sheets. So, they must have because I had that connection with them, which is good and bad. And in this case, it's bad. That they thought someone was being chased, and so I immediately got out of bed to help them, and I started to run. But luckily, I came back to the reality, or not from the end, or came back from the other side. That there was no one there to chase, and I think they're getting, I don't know, more. I don't want to use creative, but they're thinking of more ways to try to basically, like either terrify me or things to, because ideally what evil wants to do is just break you down, so then eventually you might turn, and towards evil and all that. So that was the first time experience. I mean, I've woken up before because I know they're in the room, and I'll wake up, but they must have I don't know if they actually touched me or not. I don't think they did, but they put that vision in my head that someone's in trouble, and then I immediately threw off the covers, and then almost was ready to start running, and then I realized I'm in my bedroom. Well, and then I figured out, okay, this is just a psychic vision that they're trying to get me to maybe run into the wall or whatever. But luckily, I did realize that I wasn't on the road chasing someone down, and because it looked like it was paved street, and all I could see was like shoes. It looked like maybe, and I'm just guessing, that maybe the person that supposedly I was supposed to be trying to help, they looked like they're maybe like 12 or 13 years old. You could tell it was a young girl's legs or something, and they had, I think, like brown shoes or heels or something. I can't, that part I'm a little vague on, but that's what it kind of came across. So that was the first thing that happened. So then about 5:30 in the morning, I wake up because there's something in the room moving again, of course. So there's a little bit of sunlight coming into the crack between where the curtains don't actually meet up right with the with your wall. So there's a little bit of gap. So just a little bit of sunlight. So when I wake up and I know it's not fully lit at all, I figured there's something in the room with me. So I look in the corner of my bedroom to my left, because that's where the curtains are, and then right there is where that evil spirit was. Because when I kind of sat up a little bit, or just kind of, I didn't really sit up, I just kind of looked up a little bit, I thought I saw something in the left-hand corner, and it was kind of at first I thought maybe it was like a good spirit or something, because it was kind of what that woman was wearing was kind of white, but then I realized she was trying to blend in like with the light that was coming through the window so she could, so I wouldn't be able to see her. Because I looked at her for a second, I thought, that doesn't look right. So I kind of leaned on my shoulder and I started staring at her and focusing, and I noticed that she had like little beady eyes, like the eyes of a rat or something. And she's giving me this, look like, not that she's trying to terrify me. I think she's trying to well, I'm sure she wanted to terrify me, but I think she was trying to do is scare me, but then without being seen, so I don't know if she didn't realize that when they're in the room, I'll wake up. And so I started looking, I leaned down on my left arm and I just started looking at her like, really? I can't, you think I can't see you? And so she gave me that look, like, then she got really angry, and then about, I don't know, 5 or 6 seconds, she just disappeared. But I thought in a way, later on, not at that moment, but later on, I thought, evidently she didn't know that whenever something's in the room, I'm, normally going to go ahead and wake up. So when I saw her, and I thought, that doesn't look right. Like, is that some kind of evil spirit in the corner? And then when I, leaned on my arm and I just really started focusing, and then I could see like she was wearing kind of like I can't think of what the word was that she was wearing, but something like an older woman would wear to bed, whatever. I can't think off the top of my head what they call it, whatever. But I'm sitting there looking at her and I go, yeah, that's an evil spirit. And then she's giving me those looks with those little beady eyes. And I almost said something like, I can see you, but then I thought, so I just sat there and kept looking at her like, really? You're not going to not recognize that I recognized you? And then she finally gave me that, kind of a dirty look or whatever, and then she disappeared. But I don't know if she was the one that connected to me like at 11:30 at night, where I got out of the bed and I moved the covers and I almost started to run. I assume that was her as well. I just an educated guess. Of course I didn't see who was in that room with me, because whenever she put that thought in, then I'm thinking, I got to help someone. Then I got out of bed really quick. So I assumed that was her. I don't think it was two different evil spirits. So after that night, I thought, well, and I kind of use this as a last resort, or not last resort, but kind of like as a backup. So what I did is that there was still no more white light at all. So then I start burning a blessed candle, because I saw on one of the social media about a priest, and he said, one of the good things to kind of like clear your room if you're having a lot of activity, which of course I do, but that's expected. He goes, is burn a blessed candle. He goes, and that'll help. Might drive them all out forever. It goes, but it'll kind of like cleanse your room, so to speak. So I lit it about an hour before I went to bed, and so I go in the room and I'm laying in bed, and I happen to look up at the ceiling, and there was just a little bit of the white light, and so I've burned candles now for a couple of nights, so it's actually getting bigger, which I thought that would be like totally separate from what like the Holy Spirit does, but or maybe they're thinking, okay, since I'm burning a blessed candle, maybe I need a little bit of help or something, which, I'm not too proud to say, there's times I could use help. But it's actually gotten bigger, so I'll check to see tonight if it's, even bigger than it was before. But I thought that was kind of funny afterwards, and I'm looking at that woman, and she can see that I'm looking directly where she's at. And, in retrospect, I should have said, really? You don't think I can see you? I've probably seen now, evil spirits. I think I might have mentioned this one time. I bet over the years I've probably seen, I don't know, I'd have to say probably 300 probably more than that. I mean, in the beginning, I was seeing them like every night, and that was like 6 or 7 every night after night. I mean, consistently. And sometimes I would come home, and I don't think I've ever mentioned this before. Sometimes I'd come home, and I guess they think that I can't see them like in the daytime. Because one time I came in the house, and I started to walk down the hallway, and there's this like triangular dark, not like almost like someone painted or someone attached some black triangle next to this wall, but that's the evil spirit trying to hide. So I guess they all don't know that I can see things like this, because when I see it, I mean, I guess I could have got some holy water or something, but they're gonna move from wherever, once I start coming towards them, they're gonna move. So, and I thought I'm not gonna waste time with something like that, because it's gonna be a low level spirit. But when I see things like that, it's it's almost like they kind of, I don't know, maybe rethink things or something. Not that I want them to be better at it, but it's like, if you don't know I'm a psychic medium, then a lot of the times you're wasting. And I guess I'll bring up one last thing that I know I've never mentioned this before. Since I've been starting to see a lot more visions, like when I connect to the other side and things. Well, now it's gotten to the point, and this hasn't happened for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. I'll be taking a shower, and like you're washing your hair or whatever, and then you close your eyes, to wash off. As soon as I close my eyes, I'll start seeing the outline of something looking at me. And I thought, okay, I'm in the shower. You think like you're going to scare me or something or whatever? Or if, like sometimes like I'm in this chair and I'm a little tired, and I'll close my eyes for a second, and then I'll start to see, not a full face, but like something that, fairly far away, like trying to hide, but you can tell it's like an evil spirit. And I think in a way that's kind of good, because it started way back then, it started to desensitize me. So when I saw something really horrific, I could, I imagine like in that one situation, I got scared. But if I hadn't seen all these other things up to it, I mean, I might have been so scared, and I'd say, hey, I can't do this anymore. I mean, I can't handle this kind of things. So in a way it's good, but when I walked down the hallway and I saw this evil spirit like as a triangle, and that time too I almost thought about, I can see you, so what's the deal here? But I've always read, you don't even like sarcastically try to engage with evil, and that's, and I saw that from some priest had done and this was when I didn't know much at all years ago. And that's always stuck with me, that even in something where you're doing some sarcastic, you don't ever want to engage. And so like the one the other night when I looked at her, I was going to say, really, like, you don't think I can't see you? But I figure a priest knows a lot more than me about what you should and shouldn't do around evil. And he was an exorcist, which, if it was a priest, I thought, well, maybe they don't see that much. But this person was an exorcist, and I think he had done, I don't know, I think it was like 600 exorcisms or 5. I mean, it was a lot. So this man, or this priest, definitely knew what he was talking about. So that's why I don't even make a sarcastic remark to them, because on some level I'm starting to engage with evil, which of course you never want to do. Well, I'm sorry, this video was a lot longer, but there was other things that I wanted to mention, like when I can't even take a shower and I close my eyes and then I see something. But it's things like that. It's not like I'm scared or anything. It's just kind of annoying, like, really, I can't even take a shower and close my eyes for 5 seconds without something evil popping up, but it's just the way it goes. I'm sorry it took this ran way longer than what I anticipated, but I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you.